So the next topic is chemical coordination in plants. Unlike animals or human beings, plants does not have nervous system to respond immediately. In animals, higher animals, if you take mammals or if you take human beings, they will be giving fast response to the stimuli which is being put by either internally in the body or externally outside the body. Whenever we receive a stimuli from external source, that is, for example, when we touch a hot pot, we are going to withdraw our hand. Or whenever we are passing by a street, if we smell a bad one, that means if we smell the garbage, then immediately we close our nose. Or with the help of a kerchief, we will try to close our entire mouth as well as nose. That means we are giving response to the stimuli which is being created externally. But a plant cannot do so. If we are dumping garbage beside the plant, it is not going to have any source to close the stomata so as to not enter that bad smell into their body. Or if you are going to fight that one, if you are going to lead a fight to the plant, it is not going to move away from that place. If you are going to beat the plant, it is not going to move away from the place. That means plants do not have nervous system to respond immediately. So they have adapted different types of chemical, they will be totally depending upon chemical substances in order to give response to the external stimuli that is being put on their body. So that chemical responses will be, we are going to see about the chemical responses which will be given, and it is termed as chemical coordination in plants, and it is going to be very slow. It is going to be very slow. Those hormones which are going to be produced in plants are called as phytohormones. The chemical substances that are produced in the plants against to the stimuli that is being put is known as phytohormone. Means the chemical substances are going to give response accordingly. And if there are several examples to explain this one. First, we can take an example of touchscreen plant, Mimosa. Mimosa pudica is a plant. Have you seen a touchscreen plant? If you are going to touch a plant, the leaves of touchscreen plant, that is Mimosa, the leaves are going to come closer. And after 20 to 30 minutes, around approximate time, then they are going to come to their normal position. Because they are going to give response to the touch, which is known as thigmonasty. This type of response given by the plant, closing the leaves when we are going to touch. When we touch the plant, it is going to create some electric impulse over the leaves, and the leaves are going to fold together exactly into the middle. They are going to come in the vein. The vein is going to be exactly in the middle. So whatever the leaves that are present on either sides of the vein, they are going to come closer and they are going to close the entire leaf. That system is called as thigmonasty. They are responding to a touch by human beings or animals. If a bee touches the leaf, then it is going to come closer. If we touch the plant, touch the leaf, then the leaves are going to come closer. There is some logic behind this one, simple logic. The base of the leaves are filled with water cells. The base of the leaves of this Mimosa plant will be consisting of separate cells, special cells which are filled with water. They are called as pulvini. The base of the Mimosa leaves will be consisting of cells filled with water. They are called as pulvini. These cells which are filled with water are called as pulvini, and the intercellular spaces between these pulvini will be very large. That means the space between two cells will be very large, and because of the water pressure exerted over the leaves will be standing erect. That means they will be erect. And when a person or animal or insect is going to touch the leaf, then these pulvini cells, they are going to go apart, as a result of which the balance of the leaf will be disturbed and the leaf is going to come closer. The leaf will be standing erect as long as the pulvini cells, that is water filled cells, are present, and they are going to give water. Because of that water pressure present on the leaves, below the leaves, they are going to stand erect. When it is going to be disturbed, then the water filled cells known as pulvini are going to move on either sides, disturbing the balance of the leaves, as a result of which the leaves comes closer. The technique is known as thigmonasty. Touching that one, giving response to the touch by a person, animal or a insect is known as thigmonasty, and it is being involved because of the presence of pulvini cells. These pulvini cells are filled with water, and they are going to, because of the water pressure which is present inside the pulvini, their leaves are going to stand erect. That means they are going to be in normal position. Whenever a person, animal or some insect is going to touch that leaf, then water cells which are present underneath the leaves, they are going to move apart. Whatever the water cell space that is present in between the cells, that is going to be reduced, and they are going to move onto the corners of the leaves, as a result of which the leaves will be closed. This is the logic which is present in the Mimosa plant, that is Stachypinot plant, and the response is known as thigmonasty. You might have observed, when you sow a seed, you can do an experiment. Sow a seed inside a bottle. Take some raw seeds, take for example Bengal gram, green gram, or whatever the seeds it may be. Soak them in water for 24 hours. Then sprouts will be arising. You can see some sprouts arising from the bean seed, anything. Then you sow them in the soil. What you will be observing is the root system will go into the plant. The shoot system will come outside the soil, and it is going to emerge out of the soil. Whereas root system is going to enter into the soil. You don't know whether the seeds, before sowing the soil, before the root system and shoot system is going to emerge, you don't know whether it is upside or downside. But plants' chemical substances know where the root system has to grow and where the shoot system has to grow. Accordingly, the root system will be entering into the soil, whereas the shoot system will be emerging out of the soil because of the presence of chemical substances which are present in it. The chemical substances will allow the root system to go deep into the soil. This type of response given by the root system to grow into the soil is known as geotrophism. And the shoot system will be emerging out of the soil. The shoot system will be coming out of the soil. It will be emerging out of the soil. That means this response towards the light, shoot system will be growing towards the light. That is known as phototropism. Photo means light, geo means earth. The root system will be entering into the soil. The response given by the root system to enter into the soil is known as geotropism. The shoot system which is emerging out of the soil and which will be growing towards the light, and that mechanism is known as phototropism. And you can see sometimes when you are going to sow a seed or grow a plant near the rock, they will bend away from the rock, and the roots or the shoot system will bend away from the rock, and they try to come out of the rock, and the roots will be growing near to the soil and avoiding the rock. So that they want this type of mechanism where the root system is growing away from the rock into the soil to get some water into their body is known as hydrotropism. When you grow a plant near a rock, then the root system will be growing out away from the rock, and they will be trying to enter into the soil where the availability of water is more. This type of response given by the root system towards the water is known as hydrotropism. And you can see some of the plants giving response to the chemicals. For example, you might be seeing tenders. If you take a bitter gourd plant, the best example. Whenever they will be having weaker stems. A bean, they will be having weaker stems. As a result of which, what they will do is they will take the support of a rock. They will be taking support of a wood or any of the other plant, and they will try to grow around it by forming tendrils. The leaves of the plant and the stem of the plant will be having small erections or small projections which will be coming out of them and which will be attaching themselves to the hard structure which is present around it. That means whether it may be rock or it may be a wood. It will be attaching to it and it will be taking the support of that one, and the tendrils will be growing to upwards. It is clear. So this is called as stigmotropism. This mechanism is known as stigmotropism. That means the leaves or the stem, the leaves and the stems, they will be growing small tendrils over it so as to get attached to the, just like if you have observed Spider-Man movie, in the initial portion, the Spider-Man's hand, they will be showing some small eruptions. Similar to that one, the plants of these tendrils will be having small eruptions over their body, all over the body, including leaves, so that which makes the plant to get attached to the rock substance or else a wood or any other plant, so that it will be growing upwards. And this type of mechanism is known as stigmotropism. And if you can see some of the insects falling over the flowers to suck the nectar, okay, that is called as chemotropism. They are making the insects to absorb with the chemicals of producing chemical substances. I can give you one more example for this chemical chemotropism. You can see the petals of a flower being sweet. If you taste it, the petals of a flower will be sweet because they will be secreting special substance. I think you know about the stigma of a plant. If you see a floral parts of a plant, it will be called the top of the style is known as stigma. Female reproductive system, which will be coming across in next class, will be explaining it detailedly. So the female reproductive systems are ovary, style and stigma. If you recollect the previous classes in 9th class or 8th class, then you can see ovary, style and stigma. Whenever pollen grains fall on the stigma, then stigma will release a sugary substance, a chemical substance, enabling the pollen grain to grow a pollen tube. It will germinate, the pollen grain will germinate over the stigma and they are going to react to the chemical substance that is produced by stigma. This is known as chemotropism. Ovule giving response to the chemical substance released by stigma is known as chemotropism. Flowers sending nectar, releasing nectar to attract the insects for pollination is known as chemotropism. They are releasing some chemical substances into the surroundings so as to attract the insects for facilitating the pollination process. So whenever the pollen grain reaches the stigma releases a chemical substance and enables the pollen grain to germinate and to develop a pollen tube. This pollen tube, after reaching, it will be releasing its pollen grains pollen grains which are present inside it, and it will be reproducing, which will be coming in next topic. So this type of giving response to the pollen grains, whenever they fall on the stigma immediately secretes a chemical substance, that is sugary substance, facilitating the pollen grain to give rise to pollen tube. This type of response is known as chemotropism. Okay, all these are because of the presence of these substances, namely hormones. There are 5 types of hormones which are produced in almost all the plants: auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid and ethylene. Auxins. These auxins will be primarily involved in cell elongation and cell repeated mitosis process. That means cell elongation as well as mitosis. Mitosis means one cell will become 2, 2 will become 4. Multiplicity of cells will be because of the possibility of auxins. And these auxins will be produced at the tip of the stem or tip of the root, so as to allow geotropism or phototropism respectively. Auxins will be present at the coleoptile tip. That means the tip of the root system or tip of the shoot system is called as coleoptile, and this auxins will be present and it will be enabling. The tip of the plant will be producing auxin. The auxin will be reaching the next portion so as to enable the cells reproduce repeatedly and the cells to elongate in length. So auxins promote cell elongation and for the plant to grow taller, either the root system or shoot system. Gibberellins. These gibberellins will allow the plant to grow in broader. These gibberellins will allow the plants to grow in broader size. That means they are going to increase the width of the plant. Length of the plant will be increased by auxins. Width of the plant will be increased by production of gibberellins. And it is also going to present in sprouting seeds. It will allow the bud dormancy to open. Bud dormancy, whenever you soak some seeds in the water, then gibberellins will act on that, and it makes the plant, it makes the seed to grow root system and to grow shoot system. That is radicle and plumule, which is the primitive parts of root system and shoot system, will be growing because of gibberellins. And it is going to break the bud dormancy. It is going to break the bud dormancy. Cytokinins. Cytokinins will also help in cell elongation, and it is going to increase the life of the leaf. As long as cytokinins are present on the leaf, the cell's aging will not take place. That means it will be fresh. If you take a cabbage, spinach, plucked from the, that means separated from the stem, you can see 1 week or 10 days being fresh. At least approximate time for the cabbage or spinach to be fresh because of the presence of cytokinins. As long as cytokinins are present in the leaf, they will not allow the leaf to become aged. If the amount of cytokinins decreases in the leaf, then the green leaf will turn into yellow and they are going to fall down. So cabbage, which is fresh enough, will be consisting of more amount of cytokinins. As the amount of cytokinins decrease, then the leaf age will be decreased, as a result of which it results in the maturity, increasing the maturity levels of that leaf, and it is going to fall down from the plant, whatever the leaf it may be. Turning of green leaf into yellowish color depends on cytokines, the presence of cytokines. The more the amount of cytokines in the leaf, the age will be more. If the cytokines amount will be reduced, then the leaf is going to turn from green to yellowish in color and they are going to fall off from the plant, shed off from the plant. Abscisic acid, it is reverse. Abscisic acid will increase the age of the leaf. You are plucking the cabbage or spinach. As long as it is there to present to the attached to the stem or the mother plant, cytokinins will be active. The abscisic acid is also present in the leaf, but it will be in dormant state. It will increase the cytokinins will help the stomata to open. Abscisic acid will close the stomata. Reverse. Cytokinins will increase the age of the leaf. Abscisic acid will decrease the age of the leaf. When you are plucking the cabbage, then the amount of as the days progresses, the amount of cytokinins will decrease. The amount of abscisic acid will increase. So it is reversed to cytokinins. Ethylene and gibberellins will also help in development of seedless fruits. Gibberellins will also help in development of seedless fruits, grapes, for example. You might be seeing when you purchase white grapes in the market, sometimes you can see some white color over the grapes, some white colored powder like substance over the grapes. That is presence of gibberellins. Spraying the gibberellins by the farmers over the grapes so as to enable the development of seedless fruits. Seedless fruits will be developed because of the spraying of gibberellins over the grape plants, grapes. You might be seeing some white chemical substance over that one before, so as to whenever you bring fresh grapes from the market, you can see sometimes you can see some white powder like substance over it. That is gibberellic acid. They will be spraying over it. So you have to wash it and then you have to consume that product. So that gibberellins will increase the development of seedless fruits. Parthenocarp it is called as. We'll see in next chapter. ethylene will ripen the fruit. Ethylene will ripen the fruit. That means it is going to decrease the life of the fruit. Fruit when it is raw, it will be younger. As long as it ripens into a ripened fruit, then its life becomes decreased. Lifespan becomes decreased. That means ethylene makes a unripened fruit to ripen. Whenever we keep a ripened fruit inside the basket of mangoes, it releases a gas called as ethylene gas. Ethylene gas will be released from the ripened fruit and it enters into all the surrounding fruits that are present inside the basket, and that ethylene gas will make the unripened raw fruits into ripened fruits. So it is going to increase the life. That means unripened fruits, raw fruits will be turned into ripened fruits by ethylene. Ethylene is a gas. That means we can consider this one as age increasing product. Ripened fruit, it is going to increase the age. That means it is going to come near to the death. Ripened raw fruit will be, that means raw fruit will be ripened. Raw fruit will have more life, whereas ripened fruit will have less life, 1 or 2 days. Raw mango will be having more days of life. More days of life. That means it can be kept fresh for 1 week or 10 days. But ripened fruit, 1 or 2 days. Because of presence of more amount of ethylene. The more the amount of ethylene, the less the life of the fruit will be. The less the life of the fruit will be, the more the amount of ethylene. The less the amount of ethylene, the more the amount of rawness in the fruit. So actually, there are some of the scientists who are involved in presence getting extraction of oxygens and other substances from the plant. Especially we can talk about 2 scientists, Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin. Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin, they have conducted experiments on tip of the plants, tip of the root system and tip of the shoot system. What they have done is they have closed the tip of the shoot system with the help of a aluminum foil closely, so that no sunlight is going to fall on the tip of the plant. As a result of which, when sunlight is not falling over it, then the production of oxygen has been reduced. They have observed that production of oxygen has been reduced and the plant is not growing towards the light. They given a statement that there is some substance present in the tip of the plant, that is coleoptile tip of the plant, that substance which is produced at the tip of the plant will make the plant to grow taller. And since I am closing it not to be exposed to the sunlight, the substance did not name oxygen. The substance is suppressing the growth of the plant because it is not receiving the sunlight. Since it is not receiving the sunlight, the substance, chemical substance is not produced in the plant, as a result of which cell elongation, that is growth of the stem, is not taking place. Later on, another scientist by name F.W. Wendt, he has cut the tip of the portion, that is coleoptile tip, and he has kept in a medium called as agar-agar medium. He deposited. Deposited means cut down the top portion and he has kept in agar-agar medium so as to keep it alive. Then he has removed that portion of few plants, 5 to 10 plants, and he has kept it in darkness. The entire experiment was conducted in darkness. Then what he has done is, to some of the plants he has replaced that one. Whatever the agar medium was, whatever the coleoptile tip was placed in agar medium, he has replaced whatever he has removed deposited part over the same root, same shoot system, and afterwards he has observed that it is going towards the sunlight. You can see most of the plants, if you keep inside your room, just like money plant or any other plant, inside your rooms or inside your offices, then they will tend to grow towards the light because they will be showing tendency to grow. The stem system will always grow towards the light. It is called as phototropism. Similarly, he observed that he has extracted some material from that deposited part and he named that portion as auxins, which is making the shoot system to grow towards the light. That is phototropism. It is mainly because of auxins, and he named that portion as that chemical substance as auxin. F.W. Went is the first scientist, first person biologist to remove and extract the auxins portion.